Hello, people of Earth. It is I, Amy, your resident sock maker. This is my circular sock knitting machine. Isn't it cool? I think it's very cool. So first up, we're going to hang on our setup bonnet, and then we're going to knit through the little rings on my setup bonnet with our green waste yarn. The waste yarn is just to get the machine knitting, make sure that everything's working properly. We wouldn't want to waste project yarn for that. So that's the green yarn. Next, I'm going to put in one row of fishing line, and that's so I can rip it out at the end and it will separate all of that setup stuff from my sock. Now we're ready. It is go time for sock. Houston, go for sock. So the sock yarn is in. I got my big weight in there that's going to pull all of my knitting down, which will keep it from, it'll keeps it knitting, honestly. It'll just keep it knitting. And then I'm going to take my project yarn and I'm wrapping every needle with a little loop. And that's so it has a finished edge at the top of my sock. If I just put the yarn in and started knitting, those would be live stitches and they'd just unravel. So we don't want that. Pro tip, we don't want our socks to unravel. So I got everything wrapped, and now I'm going to put those needles down into work. When they're up, they don't knit it at all. They're just out of work. And when they're down, they are in work. Now I'm going to reset my row counter because I could not count all these rows myself, people. I could not do it. So, and we are doing 30 rows, and that is the ankle of our. By the way, this live was about 40 minutes long, maybe 41, 42 minutes, and I just did it 10x speed. So we're at about 4 minutes for this video, but it took me 41 minutes to do this in real time. So after the 30 rows, then we do our heel, and the back needles are lifted up because that's the top of the sock that doesn't have a heel, and we're just going back and forth across the back of the cylinder. If you were a hand knitter, this I think the closest thing would be a German short row. So I am just turning my heel, going back and forth, decreasing, and then working my way back up, increasing until the heel is complete. I use heel forks to pull my knitting down again, because if there's no weight pulling the knitting down, it doesn't knit. And then my stitches, my needles are back in place, and I reset my row counter. And look at that gorgeous yarn. Oh my gosh, it's just the cutest thing ever. Yeah, so cute. I'm worried about that yarn holding out, but I decided that I was still going to just keep using this yarn for my toe. And I decided to be fancy and do the toe on the front of my cylinder instead of the back where I usually do it. And that is so that the pattern of this yarn will continue over the front of the foot, and then it will curve its way around the toes and it will stop on bottom of their foot, and that's where the pattern will break. So I was being fancy, you guys, making a nice little pattern of the sock that won't be even seen by the naked eye unless your feet are, kicked up or something. The toe is worked the same way as the heel. We just go back and forth across the cylinder, decreasing down until we hit our target needles. And then I put the needles down back into work, increasing as I work my way back up. And that is it. That's the sock. That's as much as we can do on the machine. The rest has to be done off the machine. I cut a nice long tail. Look at that. I've won yarn chicken, you guys. Winner! So then I put on some waste yarn, and that's going to hold all our stitches in place until I can close the toe with that tail that I left. I put a needle on there and I will graft it shut. It's not going to be shown in this video though. Sorry. You can look in the playlist though if you want to see other ones being grafted shut. Anyway, that's my sock, you guys. 40 minutes and I have this beautiful thing. Maybe if you see me live, you could come join me. Bye.